Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we start the playoffs here in the Cup Series. A very exciting time ahead where we come in well above the cut line into this Darlington weekend. 28 points, I think it is, a buffer that we have to start the playoffs now. So all about really just being consistent, not making any big errors. The big problem is, of course, over the course of the regular season, as we come in to start this playoff, I mean, we have done a superb job of making enemies with our own team. And colleagues said, we're on our own for the playoffs. They are going to make life very difficult on me in the playoffs. These cars are going to be harder to drive. We are going to have to, you know, pretty well crawl and just claw our way through this playoff if we're going to be able to advance. And honestly, I'm afraid that if we don't advance in the playoffs, we might get fired a bit early from colleague. As you guys know, next season we are transitioning into Joe Gibbs Racing full-time in the number 19 car, replacing the retiring Martin Truex Jr. So really the goal is to try and make it into the Final Four with a colleague machine. That's going to be a bit difficult, of course, but we roll through into qualifying here on Saturday afternoon now, and we are taking part in the Xfinity race this weekend, so we're going to get a little bit more track time, but qualifying with a goal of a 29.641, getting right up towards that outside wall, leaving a little bit of space. They're not getting too close, but sideways on the exit of turn 2, we would have to gather it back up and get as much momentum as we could through 3 and 4 for the final time here now, heading down this front straightaway right up to the outside wall there on the exit. Now to the line, we are not quite going to beat the goal. It's a 29.702, and that puts us on P17. Fortunately, the inside line for the original start, depending on if anybody goes to the back or not. As we'll take a look at the starting grid here from Darlington. Up on the pole position is Logano, Elliott, Truex, Byron up there, Hamlin the top 5, rounding out the top 10. I believe that was my teammate of Hemrick, and then Eric Jones. As you see the rest of the qualifying order, Allmendinger down in P31, Vargas, Haley there, Cindric, a playoff driver, all the way down in 38th. A terrible qualifying effort from the number 2 car now. As like I said, we were taking part in the Xfinity race a little bit later on in the day. We started a relatively similar position actually to the Cup Series race, P15, so 2 spots better, but we would get rolling here right behind the number 1 of Sam Mayer. Darlington is a track that I find myself competitive at often, but I have never really been able to find enough success to go to victory lane, and that goes for all series that come to Darlington, Xfinity, Cup, whatever. I just always seem to struggle to actually get to victory lane. Getting aggressive though on lap 2, making some passes. We've gone already from P15 to well inside the top 10. By the final lap, it was P7 in stage 1. The 9 actually wins the stage there. So very solid though effort in this opening stage. SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen in their P5. This is not a playoff race for the Xfinity series. They still have a little bit of time left before their playoffs start here now. Stage 2, we got back rolling. We got up into the top 5 actually here, and about halfway through the stage, actually passing the 7 of Allgaier up the inside of Corey Heim, right to the back of SVG, who had moved up into second place, having a great run, is Shane Van Gisbergen. We would have an opportunity here with 2 laps to go in the stage, however, to go for an overtake down this back straightaway, and eventually we would have a chance of clearing him. He would try to fight back, but it just wouldn't be enough, and he would fall backwards. So he was down to about 5th place at this point as we ended stage number 2. So P2 in stage 2 as Brandon Jones picks up the stage win in that number 9 JRM machine. Unfortunately, on the restart here, we were on the outside, which makes it very difficult for a driver here in Darlington. The outside is not an easy lane to restart. Probably the hardest restarting lane on the whole game is the outside in Darlington specifically, and we would lose a spot there to the 7 of Justin Allgaier, and we would spend, you know, the next few laps really just trying to focus in on a overtaking opportunity, but it wasn't coming easy. But lap 19, here we go out of turn 2, getting hard on the gas pedal, having to back out of it a little bit there to make sure I don't wash up into that left rear quarter panel on the run down towards turn number 3, though side by side, but it wasn't quite enough there. Finally, with just a few laps to go, we would pass the 7 of Allgaier. However, final lap, you can see we weren't able to gain enough. So, in fact, it's going to be Brandon Jones for Junior Motorsports out of turn 4, down the front straightaway. He'll pick up the victory here in Darlington as we cross the line for second place. So a good start to the weekend, and hopefully that sets us up well for the Cup Series race as well here in a few moments' time for that first race of the playoffs, but I think it's going to be a tough one. Nonetheless, let's get ready to race on Sunday.
It's time for the Cup Series playoffs to kick off from Darlington Raceway, a true driver's racetrack. Tonight is a good indicator of who will be a threat for the title this year. But why is that, guys?
This track requires championship qualities, Rick. Finesse, aggression, and patience all are needed to be strong here and are also needed to win a title.
I echo what Dale said. Whoever wins this race tonight, I almost guarantee will be in the Final Four going into Miami this year.
And we also have some breaking news that's come out this weekend. Trackhouse Racing will not re-sign Daniel Suarez after this season, and Kyle Busch will be driving the 99 car next season for the team.
A huge move for both parties. Kyle will end his career there, and Trackhouse could become a true powerhouse.
All right, boys, it's not going to be an easy playoff, especially with the team hating us, so we'll do what we can.
They are against us, but we will work as hard as we can with you here.
Ready to roll here for the Darlington playoff race. Now the first race of our second career playoff campaign. As you can see, drivers going to the bank, only one, and that's, two of them. Michael McDowell after failing technical inspection, and Riley Herbst with an engine change after qualifying. He'll be going to the back of the grid here. Now as we're ready to roll from Darlington here, now on the outside of us, it's John Hunter Nemechek in that number 42. Ross Chastain just in front. The green flag is out and we're racing. Playoffs officially underway here in the NASCAR Cup Series. Now Ricky Sanok Jr. up here in P16 with a solid qualifying effort there in that number 47 JTG Chevrolet Camaro as we go on this run down through turn 1. Joey Logano and that Pennzoil machine out in front right now. You see all the playoff banners there littered throughout this grid. Further down we got Bubba Wallace as well as Austin Cindric. Ryan Blaney returns to Cup Series competition this week. Of course, he had missed the majority of the season due to a concussion after his massive accident in the Coca-Cola 600. So it's been a while, but Blaney has returned tonight here in Darlington, and actually you can see him right behind me in my rear view mirror, so we'll pay attention to how that 12 car performs as this race goes on. Obviously not in the playoffs either. Still two Penske cars in the playoffs, with the leader of Logano, one win on the season recently in Richmond, and then as well Austin Cindric at Road America earlier in the season. Otherwise he would not be in the playoffs without the win. In front of us we got the rookie of Josh Berry, who's just in the way. A great qualifying effort. We've seen a little bit of improvement out of SHR as the season has gone on, but still we do know they're downsizing to a two-car team. Originally it looked like Ryan Preece would be staying with them. However, he has jumped ship and said I'm leaving, and he's going to that Rick Ware Racing team. Of course, the silly season continues to really develop here now, and we got the big news earlier this week that Kyle Busch and Trackhouse Racing have signed a deal together. Daniel Suarez will lose his ride at Trackhouse following this season. Kyle Busch will transition into the 99 car, which means somebody has to go into the number 8 for Richard Childress Racing. Very likely going to see Austin Hill behind the wheel of that car. And the future for Daniel Suarez, what does that look like? I can confirm we will see him on the Cup Series grid still next season, but where? That's the question, and I know where, but stay tuned. But I'm very excited to see what Kyle Busch will be capable of doing with Trackhouse Racing now. After what's been a miserable season with Richard Childress Racing, he showed up in Michigan, got to win there, and he is in the playoffs, and right now he's running inside the top 10. However, that was very short-lived. Notice I move up to P10. Kyle Busch specifically, as I get really loose actually on the exit of turn 2. A huge save, but Kyle Busch actually had a mechanical issue and had brought it to the pit lane, and you can see his car in the pits on the track map. His day would actually come to an end. So Kyle Busch's start to the playoffs was looking promising, and now comes to an early end here already in Darlington. As you can see, I'm going for a bit of an audible because I was starting to struggle here with grip, and you can see just how much I'm struggling as Kyle Larson leads the way, but we get to the pit lane. It's going to be a bit of a short pit strategy. The only way this works, of course, is if we go caution free, but we're not far at all from seeing everybody come into the pit, so I'm hoping that this is going to work out. The reason I decided to short pit was because Kyle Busch had his issue, and usually you see like one AI issue, and if there's no caution there, you can kind of come in. Now, that's not always the case, but you're going to see now everybody starting to pit. We had run down the leaders at this point. Kyle Larson stays out. Logano had passed him briefly as he was navigating his way through lap traffic. We would get past actually a playoff contender of Austin Cindric, would put him a lap down, and Kyle Larson, he's going to come into the pits right now from the lead of this race. So we've unlapped ourselves, but now we wanted to stay green enough for us to be able to get all of our track position back, of course, here now. So as actually I get into the outside wall on the exit of turn 2, a bit of a mistake there, but we're okay. Daniel Suarez actually stretching out the run, staying out longer than anybody in the 99. So actually, we're not on the lead lap quite yet. I was completely wrong there because of the 99. So we cycled through, though, into P12 for now. Suarez now into the pits, and the caution's gonna fly as Suarez pits. He's leading, and I believe that there was a crash with somebody exiting the pit lane, and I believe that was a 23 playoff contender of Bubba Wallace, and we'll get a look at it right here. And sure enough, Bubba Wallace coming back up on the track in front of rookie Hocevar, and they come together and gets turned into the outside wall, does the 23, and the caution flies. So this will create a 1-lap dash remaining in stage 1. We're P10 looking for stage points. Can we hold on? The green flag is back out, and the final lap of stage 1 is underway. It's quite literally a green-white checkered kind of deal. Now, Corey LaJoie just behind us there in that pink and black machine there. Beautiful paint scheme. I finally got him to actually use it in the game. Cachinero made this quite a while back now, and there he goes in that AutoNation 27 into the top 10 as we exit turn 2. Blaney up my inside in the mirror. We got another playoff contender of Christopher Bell on the outside of my teammate of Daniel Hemrick through 3 and 4. We're going to give up stage points. It's not enough pace on the outside. Joey Logano, pole winner, leads the way down the front straightaway. Logano wins stage number 1. We cross the stripe behind the 17, P14. Plenty of playoff drivers outside of the top 10. Suarez as well as Christopher Bell just behind us there now, and you can see as well with the timing of the caution, I forgot to mention it trapped a bunch of cars a lap down. There's only about 16 cars on the lead lap right now, 17 cars on the lead lap, with Allmendinger getting the lucky dog. And you can see very split strategy. Some would like to take a wave around, but not everybody in the front on the lead lap is actually pitting. We are, however, so strategy is now all over the place here in Darlington, but we'll be P16 for the restart. Allmendinger back on the lead lap with the free pass as we get ready to go racing again here from Darlington for stage number 2. So stage 1, you know, got up to a nice calm start. Kyle Busch is out. That's our early playoff implication. But outside of that, it was a pretty calm first half of the stage. A bit of a hectic end to stage number 1. Chastain out in front. He stayed out, and he's got Eric Jones right up there with him in the Legacy Motor Club machine. Eric Jones, a very, very good record when it comes to Darlington Raceway. Darlington is a true driver's racetrack. This is where you see talent come out, and that's why you always see a Kyle Larson running up front at Darlington, a Denny Hamlin, and Eric Jones. They're true, just talented drivers, and you can always see that come out at a track like Darlington. We go down into turn 1 on the outside and into the outside wall after going side by side into the corner with the 3. Bowman goes through. He's in the lucky dog position currently, I believe, so he's hoping for, of course, a caution very quickly. 25 laps here in stage 2, and you can see some cars in the way. Actually, I think it's the 99 of Suarez who's holding up some cars on the outside, and you can see as well not only him, but it looks like playoff contender Tyler Reddick as well. Look at Kyle Larson. He's dropped down to 14th place after being coming into the pits and then getting stuck behind the 99 of Suarez, so very unfortunate for him. We'll go up the inside of Austin Dillon. He's actually the lucky dog right now, but we pass him. We pass Kyle Larson. We'll go up the inside past Suarez as well, get to the back of the 45 of Tyler Reddick. We'll jump to the inside of him. Look at my mirror. Here comes the wall machine of Larson down this backstretch into turn 3. We'll sail it off into the corner, clear the 45. Larson actually tapped the wall, but look at the speed in this number 5. He's going to breeze around the outside. Chastain currently out in front, but if I'm Chastain, I'm fearful of that number 5. Kyle Larson is looking really, really good right now on lap 6 of 25 in the stage. He goes through into 11th now, passing Corey LaJoie. LaJoie was able to pick up a stage point there in stage 1, And unfortunately, I would get to LaJoy, but I wasn't really able to pass him. I was really struggling to pass him, and you can see that because the cars in front of us driving away at this point here now as I was trying to put some pressure on the 27, and I passed LaJoy eventually. I get repassed by the 48 of Alex Spellman, who was in that lucky dog position officially here with 15 laps to go in stage number 2, as it looks like there is potential for more green flag pit stops here again in stage number 2, as we're about that same point where we pitted in that first and opening stage. However, I hadn't seen any AI issues yet, so I wasn't really thinking about coming into the pit lane yet here until there is an issue with no caution coming out, basically. So running P12, trying to run down the cars in front. We were doing that. The car colleague is giving us no help. They are making life difficult on us. Earlier in the season, we ran way better in Darlington. It's going to be a hard playoff no matter where we go, but I think we're making the most of it here today so far. We will move up to P10 as green flag pit stops start to get underway as we get hugely sideways on the exit of the corner into the inside wall, and we're going to try and collect it, but we won't. Caution flies in Darlington. I just got loose. We're really lucky that the caution came out before that second hit on the front end. That would have been big damage. That probably would have put us a lap or 2 down. Fortunately, we get away with it. We only got 2 seconds of repairs, so we're going to come in and fix it, but that's the thing. Colleague is against us right now. The cars are difficult to drive. It's not going to be an easy playoff, but we just got a big break right there with that one. So Chastain leads, and some were already in the pits. I'm not sure exactly who. Larson, by the way, driven up to 5th. We lose 3 spots. Eric Jones actually gets the free pass. 18 cars on the lead lap here now as we get ready to go back racing in Darlington. Denny Hamlin actually was the one that was in position to get a big advantage there. He was in the pit lane when the caution came out, so he's now out in front as we make this run down through turn number 1. 3 laps to go in the stage, so just like stage 1, a late caution, no 1-lap dash this time. However, as we exit turn 2 down this back straightaway, my teammate of AJ Allmendinger right there. Allmendinger, I mean, is so good this season when it comes to, you know, turning things around. He qualifies horrendously. He's the opposite of Hemrick. Hemrick qualifies really good and then just fades as the race goes. Allmendinger qualifies really bad and just gets really good as the race goes on, and he's now up almost into the top 10. We're on the outside of Suarez. They're not able to keep the car pinned around there, as now on the inside is my other teammate of Daniel Hemrick. Here comes Bubba Wallace, really struggling here on the exit of turn 2 right there. Fender to fender, wheel to wheel with the number 23 as we head down this back straightaway side by side with the playoff contender who's a lap down. The 23 is going to use us up into the outside wall there. That might have been because the 14 of Briscoe forced us 3 wide, but we lose more positions coming to the white flag of stage number 2. Keselowski slips through. Chastain looks like he's going to win stage number 2 as he leads the way through 1, and now on the run on the exit of turn 2 down that back straightaway, but it's going to be nowhere close to stage points at this point now, as I'm going to give the 23 a bit of a shot to the bumper, let him know I'm not hugely impressed. He is down in 39th, and you can tell it's not because he's slow, it's because of that accident and poor strategy that has put them laps down here in Darlington. Chastain wins stage 2. We are still stage point free in this race here now, as things haven't quite worked out for us tonight in Darlington. P16 in the second stage, not what I want here. Chase Briscoe will get the lucky dog there for SHR, and once again another SHR car actually having a decent run, which is nice to see from that team as they get ready, of course, for the downscaling here in 10 races time. Nobody's coming into the pits here. As for myself, while I figured we're towards the back, we could maybe elect to come into the pit lane here and just see what we can do. So we give up the positions, and that's only a loss of 2 spots. So we come in, we get 4 tires, add fuel into the car. I had been working on tightening up the car as this race had been going for obvious reasons. As you saw, we got loose earlier and wrecked ourselves, but you can see the car does not launch. We had contact with the 23, I think it was, when the caution came out there, and that really hurt our progress here on the stage 3 initial restart. Chastain leads away again into the outside wall. Not what we need to be doing immediately to start the stage after just repairing some damage after hitting the wall. Darlington is not an easy racetrack. It is certainly not, and we continue to have these little struggles here and there. Kyle Larson out of turn 4, by the way, to the lead. He is past Chastain, and he's going to try and run away here. Now, 1 win on the season for Kyle Larson. Last season, he only had 1 win, and that was at Homestead, Miami, freshly after getting eliminated from the playoffs. Well, this season, Larson's already got one that was the crown jewel just recently at Indianapolis for the Brickyard 400 when we, of course, returned to the Oval. Could win number 2 be on the cards for him here tonight under the lights in Darlington? Now, he's the only second HMS driver this season to actually get a win. Suarez into the outside wall on the exit of 4, but Larson, of course, only 1 win, but he won the regular season championship compared to his teammate of Chase Elliott, who has 5 wins coming into the playoffs, but has lacked the consistency that Larson has had, and we haven't seen the same Chase Elliott in recent weeks that we've seen, you know, all season long. However, with all the playoff points that Elliott has accumulated over the course of that regular season, I mean, he's practically a lock almost for that Final 4, you would have to think. So, and after missing the Final 4 last season for Elliott, after looking so much like a potential championship favorite, I'm sure he is seeking a lot of redemption this season here now as we find ourselves right in the thick of this battle with Alex Bowman, who's still looking for the lucky dog. He's had a car quick enough. He's just been getting hit hard by poorly timed cautions. Nonetheless, we'll pass him. We'll pass Corey LaJoie into turn number 1. Jones there just in front of us in that Snapple machine. I expect to see Legacy Motor Club get both cars into the playoffs next season. That would be my expectation for that team. I used up my teammate just a little bit there of Hemrick, who kind of hit the brake pedal there with the 43 going around his outside. So up into P13 here, we would run down Eric Jones. We'll look up the inside, now looking for that 12th position. Allmendinger up there in front of us, and I believe that's Chris Buescher just in front of him. It could be Kozlowski. There's both subway cars are being used tonight for those cars, but you can see Jones actually re-clears on the exit of turn 4. He stays ahead, so we continue to fight with them, and Bowman filling up my rear view mirror outside wall on the exit of turn 2, again struggling as this race goes on. The long run has not treated the 16 Top Golf machine very well tonight under the lights. It's been very difficult to deal with, and you can see it, you know, a moment there's just a crash down the back straightaway. That's the 78 going up and over nearly, and the 41 hits him as well, drives right under him, and Larson and other cars are going to get involved right in the back of this now. They all come to just about a total stop as a caution flies. Everybody now heading into the pit lane. We're going to be putting on 4 tires. We're P13 right now. We are going to make a slight repair that could cost us some time. No, it doesn't. We stay P13 here, but a wild moment there for BJ McLeod, and it was because of somebody else, and I didn't even catch who it was. It might have been one of the front row cars that was stopped on the inside with a blown engine, and the 78 just plowed into him and obviously wrecked himself. So that leaves us a restart now with a little over 15 laps to go. Kyle Larson leads the way. Everybody on fresh rubber now as we head down this back straightaway. Hamlin there in P11, one of the drivers you expect to see running right up at the front here in Darlington. Not quite the scene for him tonight, but up there in the battle for second, it's Logano as well now, Byron as well as Elliott and Chastain. Those guys all going at it there in the top 5. We cross the stripe, 16 to go, still alongside Hamlin. Bell into P10 now. Christopher Bell with a few wins on the season. He got hot in the summer, but he cooled off right at the very end of the regular season. We clear the number 11 of Hamlin, and we're going to keep that momentum down the back stretch up the inside of the 20. This would continue the run down towards turn number 3, lap 78, looking to get clear of that DeWalt machine, and there we go, clear for P10 from Darlington in the Southern 500 playoff race now as we continue to try and close in on now the cars in front. Eric Jones there just in front of us, and then just in front of him, you got our teammate of AJ Allmendinger having a great run here today. His future is still uncertain, but with me leaving Colleague likely to stay full-time in the Cup Series, another accident. That's the playoff contender of Austin Cindric who's crashed, and the caution flies here from Darlington. It's been a miserable night for the 2 of Cindric, as well as the 8 of Kyle Busch, the 23 of Bubba Wallace. Those are the 3 playoff guys that have taken big hits tonight. No pit stops. We'll remain P10 for the restart. Now, less than 10 laps to go in this first and opening race of the playoffs. I can tell you, colleague, not impressed that I'm probably running P9 with a car that's essentially meant to be as hard hard as possible to navigate around the circuit. We are right behind our teammate of Allmendinger, just trying to make sure we don't put it into the outside wall on the exit of turn 2. Successful right there. Down to P11, looking to get to the inside between the 20 and the 17, and there's the opportunity. We get to the inside now, and we can try and focus in on moving forward. Allmendinger drifting backwards into the outside wall on the exit to turn 3. Kyle Larson continues to lead. Logano, Chastain, Elliott, as well as Byron all up there in the mix, and actually again on the exit of 4, Allmendinger clipped the outside wall. 5 laps to go from Darlington now as we go wheel to wheel into the corner, trying to be a little bit cautious there, but a little bit of contact there with the 13. We have had our fair share of run-ins over the last few races in Watkins Glen, of course. Daytona, when he shoved me out of line on the last restart. Now as we get sideways on the exit of turn 2, we save it, we stay committed to the throttle as we run down towards turn 3, coming to just 3 laps to go here in this opening playoff race in Darlington. Now Allmendinger P10 closing in on the back of the 20 of Christopher Bell, but the smoke's pouring out of the number 13 down the front straightaway. A tire going down for Allmendinger. NASCAR is going to throw the caution, and that's going to force NASCAR Cup Series overtime here in Darlington, hoping my AI does not hit that 13. Fortunately, it stays off. That will put us again, though, on the outside in P10, so really not what we want. I should have honestly hit the brakes and let the 17 pass me as soon as that smoke started pouring out of the 13, so I could have been on the inside for the restart, because getting a top 10, not going to be easy. Ty Gibbs there just in front of us. He has had a consistent top 10 run all night long, still seeking win number 1 of his Cup Series career in his second season of Cup Series competition. But we're back underway for overtime here from Darlington. A lot of Toyota presence around us, the 20, the 54, the 43, and the 19 as well. In our rear view mirror, Denny Hamlin, he's continued to, however, to fade down the order as we have progressed in this final stage here, side by side with Chris Buescher down this back straight away. Blaney and Hemrick and Ramirez, we go on this run towards turn 3, very close, nearly contact. There was a bit of contact right there with the 17, as now that will cost us. We'll lose another spot there to the 12 of Blaney. Here comes Briscoe as well into the mix. White flag is in the air. Kyle Larson, who's dominated this final stage, he's had great speed all night long. He is about to punch his ticket into the round of 12 with win number 2 on the season. If he can hold off a charging Chastain, who's back into second place down this back straightaway, a shot to the back of the 12 of Ryan Blaney. I was trying to get to the inside, didn't quite work right there. Couldn't get the car to rotate on the exit, but down the inside we go into turn 3. Still not going to be enough, I don't think. Kyle Larson out of turn 4 wins race number 1 of the playoffs. We're going to cross the line for P12. Ryan Blaney in his comeback from injury, a very solid P11 here from Darlington, and you can see the finishing order right there on your screen. A lot of Hendrick presence outside of Bowman in the top 5. Bowman down in P14. He finally got that lucky dog, and still, I would say, rebounded very nicely, honestly, there. But Bubba Wallace, Austin Cindric, Kyle Busch, the 3 playoff drivers that take the big hits, and you can see it right there. Surprisingly, they're all within still 10 points of the next round, so that's actually quite impressive, as we're 38 points above the cut line. You see the trucks, Sawalich actually locked into the next round over Frankie Muniz, SVG as well, but of course one more look at the Cup Series grid. Next episode, we're mile and a half racing. I think this race is going to be a big challenge, but we did enough good with our point situation today to afford a bad race. So Kansas, it's going to be tough with the car driving the way it is with Kaulig hating us. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.